Hello. Welcome to Squawkie Talkie.
I'm Pete Bakey, and I'm John Sparks.
The world of nature is very strange.
And so is the world of natural history filmmaking.
Indeed. Many of the people who work in the natural history film industry are distinctly odd.
And so are their films.
Hatch! Hatch!
Uh-oh. Now that's interesting. I just broke wind, and it took 15 seconds to reach Pete. We're about 2 feet apart, so that means that the speed of smell is about 8 feet a minute. A lot of animals communicate using smell signals, and now we know how quickly they do it.
Well, that's as may be. But now we'd like to show you a rather sad little film about old monkeys.
Monkeys are man's closest relatives in the animal kingdom, and life for old monkeys is much like life for old human beings. No longer having a contribution to make to their society, they often sink into apathy and depression. So, when a senile monkey swinging through the trees forgets what he was going to do next, it's time to go into the old monkey's home.
My daughter's coming to see me today.
You've got a daughter.
No, me doctor.
You haven't got a manicure.
Yes. Hygiene is a big problem here. You see, we are short-staffed at the moment, and most of these old folk are incontinent. Oh, we've got our hands full, quite frankly.
Oh, no. Not again, Mr. Johnson.
This old couple arrived here a few weeks ago.
It's all right, I suppose.
Some very odd characters here, though.
Yeah, but they're mostly all right.
Tigers! And snakes! We're doomed!
Hey, Steve, it's time for your bath.
Oh, Christ.
For the old monkeys, mealtimes are the highlight of the day. They have nothing else to occupy them.
Here we are.
Dinner time, ladies and gents. Come on, hurry up now.
I got me teeth! Hey, oh!
Come on, Mr. Bowen.
Oh, coming, oh, don't eat it all! Oh.
Another day just like every other day at the old monkey's home. The hopelessness of the old is a natural and universal phenomenon. Sad, but inevitable.
Why?
Beetle of the yard. Beetle, his shell is very hard. Look, it's Constable Beetle of the yard.
I was proceeding along the edge of the lawn. Some spiders had opened a discotheque club called Legs, and I was going to have a few words with them about several incidents of rowdy behaviour.
Come inside, have a lovely time. Come on in, darling.
Oh, he called me darling.
No, me.
Oh, shut up.
No, you. Come on, boys, I'm going to get off with an aphid.
An aphid? You want to get over the sled, you are?
Yes, he bought a maggot back to the until last week.
The music was not to my taste, but I was obliged to go in to make my inquiries.
Here, Sharon, that drunken blue bottle wants to dance with you. I don't dance with blue bottles. They got bad breath. They eat dog poo.
As a police beetle, I've seen a thing or two, but I must say I was shocked by what was going on.
Oh, look! He's got off for the caterpillar!
Oh, go on, Yanto. Get in there. Ah, shove off, boys, man. I'm enjoying myself.
Do you want to come back to my place?
No, you don't leave me alone!
Oh, come on, you know you fancy me, really.
I don't! Get off!
Oh, I like a bit of rough and tumble.
Hey!
I'd never seen anything like it. I'm a police beetle. Get your mandibles off me.
Get out and stay out.
And then I was thrown out for not being properly dressed, of all reasons. I'd be speaking to my superior, the chief insector, about this. And then I had a bit of trouble where they'd taken away the...
What was that?
I don't know. Just a bit of rowdy behaviour.
You gonna lock up now?
Yeah, all right.
Hello. We're on our way to meet one of the best animal trackers in the world. He's the man wildlife filmmakers hire when they're looking for the rarest and most elusive of animals. Known simply as Bush Tracker Man, he was born and raised in the Australian bush. And now he lives here, in Hertfordshire, in a bush.
Come in.
Hello.
Don't sit down. First law of the jungle, mate. Never sit down.
Right. Bush Tracker Man, you were abandoned by your parents in the bush and actually raised by animals.
No, that's not completely true. I did live in an anthill for 5 years.
5 years in an anthill? Were you bitten?
I was. For the first 6 months, the ants would get up at 5:30 in the morning, bite me until lunchtime, take a break, and then carry on biting me until they finished for the day at about 7:30.
It's a long day.
Yeah, it was, but in the end the biting stopped.
They accepted you?
They did. They came to think of me as a sort of...
large ant?
Yeah. Huh. They gave me an ant name.
Did they? What was it? And that was what you were called?
Yeah, ants don't really speak. They communicate by tapping on each other's heads with their feelers.
And you learnt their language?
Well, I had to. I wanted to get married.
To an ant?
Yeah, my wife's an ant.
Well, surely that's impossible.
Well, no, usually ants pair off into nuptial or marriage flights, but in my case we just went for a walk. Then after that, the wife shed her wings and we prepared a chamber for the children or larvae.
Incredible.
Happiest days of my life. The wife would stay in the nest and feed the youngsters with secretions from her salivary glands, and I went out foraging with the rest of the swarm.
And where's your wife now?
She was eaten by a pangolin.
Isn't that a musical instrument?
That's a mandolin, Pete.
Oh.
Bush Tracker Man, I'm very, very sorry.
I'm very, very sorry as well.
Aye, there's no other boat, is it? It's all right, pal. Christ.
Well, that's a beautiful bit of workmanship. Anyway, Pete, perhaps you'd like to tell us why you've chosen today's never-before-seen Sydney kidney film.
Well, this is one of my favourites, and what's particularly interesting about this film is the reference to Norwegian explorers.
Ah, the Norwegians, yes. Ever since Amundsen beat Scott to the South Pole, there's been a terrible rivalry between them and us.
There certainly has been, and in Grandad Kidney's case, it was a very personal matter. There was one particular explorer, Knut Cutletson.
The vegetarian who was eaten by cannibals.
That's him, yeah. But before he was eaten, he not only beat my Grandad to many zoological firsts, he also married the only woman Grandad ever loved, the beautiful Arthur Gland, the day before Grandad was going to propose to her.
Arthur? That's a man's name, isn't it?
Not in Holland, where Arthur lived.
I see.
Let's just see the film now, shall we?
Right on, mate.
I had decided to move hut. Africa had become increasingly noisy since several groups of Norwegian explorers had moved in, and I wanted a bit more peace and quiet. The chief of the village, also a qualified estate agent, was delighted to see me and suggested several properties which I should view. None of them were quite what I was looking for. I returned to my current project, filming beakless buzzards on the other side of the lake. I had to work at a considerable distance from these birds, as they are, understandably, very self-conscious about their appearance and would fly away if I came too close. But wait a moment, what was that? It was a hut, and very obviously an abandoned hut if there were beakless buzzards near it. What an incredible piece of luck. I set off at once on the long walk around the lake to lay claim to this fine piece of real estate. How nice to see these lions getting on so well. Then I began to pass hundreds of people, all going the other way, laden with heavy luggage. The further I went, the more peculiar things became. What on earth could it be that was causing this outlandish behaviour? The unmistakable smell of fear hung in the air, causing me to sneeze, quite violently. It looked as though they were all running away from something. Even the tiger was fleeing in terror. But years of bushcraft had taught me to beware of such obvious interpretations. I pressed on, and then I saw that for once the obvious interpretation was correct. For there, not 10 paces away, was the most cruel, the most deadly, the most terrible of Mother Nature's agents of destruction. The tick bird. No wonder everyone had fled, for who would not flee at the sight of a flock of tick birds, pecking mercilessly at anything they could get their beaks on? What you see here is typical. The vile, cowardly tick birds will always make sure that they outnumber their victims before attacking, and the rhinoceros is a favourite target, for being of low intelligence, he does not realise that he's being eaten, until there is hardly anything of him left. Knowing myself to be in one of the most difficult situations for a naturalist to be in, I retired to a nearby village to prepare for an experiment I had wanted to conduct for a long time: tick bird repellent. I was convinced that a potent fluid which could be squeezed from the prostate gland of an Agoragora smegma badger would help to keep the tick birds away. With some help, a smegma badger was rounded up and squeezed. And then, liberally doused, I ventured back into tick bird territory. This time the victim was a giraffe. I moved up close. The tick bird went straight for the giraffe's neck, like the true killer he is. The depravity of these disgusting birds defies belief. There can only be one outcome to an encounter with a tick bird. The poor giraffe had suffered death by pecking, but I was in great spirits as I walked towards my new hut. My invention worked. The repellent would keep the tick birds away from me, and the tick birds would keep everybody else away from them. As the old Royal Geographical Society saying goes, an appalling stench is a small price to pay to keep the Norwegian explorers away.